prime or composite? Prime numbers are those that are divisible by only two factors, one in itself. Composite numbers are those that are divisible by more than two factors. We're going to test the numbers 1 through 6 to see if they're prime or composite. We're going to start with 6 and work our way down. If 6 is prime, it means I can do 6 divided by 1 by putting all 6 items into one group, and I can do 6 divided by 6 by putting one item into each group. Now let's test to see if it's composite. Let's see if we can do 6 divided by 2. When we do 6 divided by 2, we can put 3 items into each group. Continuing on, let's check to see if we can do 6 divided by 3. When we do that, we can put 2 items into each group. Checking to see if 6 is divisible by 4, I start out by putting 1 item into each group, but then I have 2 remainders. So that tells us that 6 is not divisible by 4. Checking to see if 6 is divisible by 5, I can put 1 item into each group, but when I do that, I have 1 remainder. So 6 is not going to be divisible by 5. However, at this point, we know that 6 is a composite value because it's divisible by more than just 1 in itself. It's divisible by 1, it's divisible by 2, by 3, and by 6. Checking to see if 5 is prime or composite, we can start by checking to see if it's prime. We can do 5 divided by 1 by putting all 5 items into one group, and we can do 5 divided by 5 by putting 1 item into each of 5 groups. When we try to do 5 divided by 2 to see if it's composite, we can put 2 items into each group, but then we have 1 left over, so it's not divisible by 2. When I try to do 5 divided by 3, we can put 1 item into each group, but then we have 2 left over, so 5 is not divisible by 3. Checking to see if 5 is divisible by 4, we can put 1 item into each group, but then we have 1 left over, so 5 is not divisible by 4. That means 5 is a prime number because it's only divisible by 1 and itself. Now we'll check to see if 4 is prime or composite. Starting out, we can do 4 divided by 1 by putting all 4 items in one group, and we can do 4 divided by 4 by putting 1 item in each group. Continuing to check to see if it has other factors, 4 divided by 2 means I can put 2 items into each group, but when we do 4 divided by 3, I can put 1 item into each group, but then we have 1 remainder. That tells us that 4 is not divisible by 3. However, 4 is going to be a composite number because it still has more than 2 factors. It's divisible by 1, by 2, and by 4. When we check to see if 3 is prime or composite, we know we can do 3 divided by 1 by putting all 3 items into one group, and we can do 3 divided by 3 by putting 1 item into each group. If we check to see if 3 can be divisible by 2, we can put 1 item in each group, but then we have 1 remainder. So that tells us 3 is not divisible by 2. So 3 is a prime number because it's only divisible by 1 in itself. When we try to test to see if 2 is prime or composite, we can do 2 divided by 1 by putting both items in one group. And then we can do 2 divided by 2 by putting 1 item into each group. But there's no other factors to check to see if it's divisible by. 2 is only divisible by 1 and 2, making it a prime number. 2 is special because it's the only even prime number. Every other even number can be divided by 2 as another factor. The last number we have to check is 1. We can divide 1 by 1 and make one group of 1. But there's nothing else to check to see if 1 is divisible by. So 1 only has one factor. That means it doesn't have 2 factors, that's not enough to be prime, and it doesn't have more than 2 factors, that's not enough to be composite. So 1 is the only whole number that is neither prime nor composite. For the numbers 1 through 100, all of our highlighted values are prime. Except for 1, which is neither prime nor composite, all of our remaining values are going to be composite. Check out the other videos in our playlist and don't forget to click on subscribe. Thanks for watching!